Hello students, I welcome you all to this virtual learning online platform. Today, I would like to talk in general about English grammar. Friends, we have been studying grammar of different language or different languages, I would say. Whether it is a case with the regional language, national language, or even the international language English that we are talking today. Whenever we talk about grammar of a particular language, of course, we do remember about the kind of rules and regulations of the respective language and its usage. But when you look at the word grammar, you will find that this word has a origin over there in Greek language. It means the word grammar is originated from Greek language. And in Greek language, it means the craft of letters. And it can be an apt description of the word. But when you look at the grammar of a specific language, this grammar is nothing but the systematic study and description of a language, especially in the context of the usage. So in general terms, we can say grammar is a set of rules and examples dealing with the syntax and the various word structures that you call morphology of a language. In different words, you can also say grammar is the way we arrange words to make proper sentences and different combinations of structures. Of course, the word level grammar basically covers verbs and tenses, nouns, adverbs, etc. Actually, there are 8 major parts of speech that we have been studying since schooling that gives you a very clear picture of the wide scope of English grammar. And these 8 major parts of speech, I hope everybody would remember. noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. So these are the 8 parts of speech that constitute the very important section of English grammar. Similarly, in the course of your preparation of English grammar, you have studied different types of sentences, like declarative sentences, interrogative sentences, exclamatory sentences, imperative sentences, and so on. My point is, once we started learning English grammar, it means we started learning the rules and regulations of English as a language. As you know, the smallest part of English as a language is an alphabet, or you can even call it a letter. How many alphabets are there in English? You have A to Z, 26 letters, 26 alphabets. And of course, these alphabets have a few consonants and a few vowels. If you talk in general terms, A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U, these 5 are the vowels, and the remaining 21 are the consonants. But if you talk in terms of English phonetics, because phonetics is the study of the pronunciation of the respective language. And in that context, you have 20 vowels and 24 consonants. So that is the study of sounds. I'm not getting into that aspect now. The kind of usage that we have in our day-to-day use of language, I'm talking about that grammar. So the smallest unit of English language is an alphabet. You have A to Z, 26 alphabets. These alphabets are arranged in specific acceptable manner, and that forms several number of words in English. So second smallest unit of language is a word. You have different types of words around. Even your A and D, these are also the words. The word grammar itself is a word, right? Anything that you find which is the integral part of English language that is claimed and that is called as a word. So of course that becomes the second smallest unit of language. Now you see, the acceptable combination of letters or the alphabets forms a word, and then you have the acceptable systematic formation of or the combination of different words forms a sentence. Now, what do you mean by a sentence? Sentence is nothing but a group of words arranged in a specific order acceptable to the standards of the respective language, the rules and regulations of the respective language, having its own comprehensive, complete meaning. That is called a sentence. You have different words. A number of words are known to us. But can you put together any word in any place? Will it give you any meaning? No. In the definition itself, I told that a sentence is nothing but a systematic. See, word systematic is quite important here. It's a systematic arrangement of words. That systematic indicates you need to be very careful about the various structures of the respective grammar. Since we are talking about English grammar, naturally, our focus will be on the various acceptable sentence structures as recommended by the linguists and the grammarians. So here, we need to take that particular aspect into consideration. Once you form a sentence, automatically you need to either elaborate the things or express the things verbally or to describe the things on a piece of paper. So one after the other, you keep on organizing your sentences that forms a paragraph. Okay. And likewise, you go on writing, you go on describing, narrating the things as needed, and that will be the detailed, elaborate, construction of your ideas in totality, your thoughts in totality. And that way we do communicate. Now I'm talking to you over this online platform. I'm using various combinations of acceptable structures to English language. Some are the short sentences, some are the little bit bigger sentences. I mean to say, I'm using a few simple sentences. Sometimes I'm using, compound sentences. And some of the times I'm also making complex sentences, and that decides the length of the sentence. Some of the sentences that I made are declarative sentences, and mostly I use the declarative sentences over here. But while speaking or while writing, we do use imperative sentences, interrogative sentences, exclamatory sentences, depending on the need of either your context of speaking or writing. We do use it. And that is the beauty of language. The language provides you a lot of variety. And the adequate and proper knowledge of the grammar of the respective language, it will definitely, create the aesthetic sense to your formation of sentences or the creation of sentences. While talking about English grammar in general, I would like to just, pay some attention towards some of the basic rules. What are these basic rules of English grammar? Or I would like to offer a few suggestions. I think that will be the better expression to this kind of thing. While speaking or even writing, I would suggest that we should always use active voice than speaking or writing in the passive voice. We should always put an effort to link our ideas, thoughts, and expressions with proper conjunctions. If at all you are writing on a piece of paper, use commas or semicolons or whatever rules of punctuation very appropriate, so that you will be able to connect your number of ideas. And while speaking, you need to take certain pauses, a short pause, a little bit long pause, that should give a proper signal to your audience, to your listener, the kind of ideas that you are processing while speaking. Similarly, the use of tenses is the most important aspect of language. You should be habitual to use a proper combination of tenses. The thing that you are processing, the kind of idea that you are trying to express, that should always be expressed in the proper tense. I mean to say, the combination of the present, past, and future should be effectively done by an individual, whether you are writing on a piece of paper or else you are speaking, fluently right in front of your audience or listeners. If you make a mistake or if you commit certain mistakes while using the tenses of the respective language, probably it will definitely destroy the meaning that exactly you want to convey to your audience. Similarly, the use of adjectives and adverbs, mind it well, that add on to the beauty of the language. But we need to be so, particular, we need to be so keen to use certain adjectives and adverbs in the context, whether it is the written context or the spoken context. While writing and while speaking as well, we need to be very careful about the use of homophones, homonyms, because these homophones and homonyms sometimes gives you the correct sense. If at all something goes wrong in this context, it also distorts the meaning. So never give an opportunity to the counterpart to find an error over there. Similarly, you need to connect your ideas. Already I told you, with the help of proper conjunctions. Your sentence structure should be acceptable and correct. Use different types of words. Sometimes, in English, you have a word having multiple meanings. But ensure that how effectively you are using these words, and these words are going to convey the meaning that you want to share with your listeners, with your audience, or with your reader. So the word order, punctuation, tense and aspect, use of various determiners, connectors, interjections, that actually gives you a wide scope of usage of various aspects of English grammar. And once you start using it, automatically your proficiency of English, your command over the language will always be, minutely observed by your audience or the readers. As far as vocabulary is concerned, or your word order is concerned, that also plays an important role in the entire process of your use of the language. Because word order is an analytical aspect of language. And as you know, English uses word order to determine the relationship between or among different aspects and words of a sentence. So while using these different words, we need to be very careful. And if at all, you could really acquire these many things while using any language, whether it is a case of your Marathi as a regional language or Hindi as a national language, or if at all you are using English for communication as an international language, these rules will be almost equally applicable. Especially, I'm talking about the use of vocabulary, use of words, right? But every language has its own structural pattern, and that pattern you need to understand. So holistically, in general, when you talk about English grammar, I can say that either English grammar or grammar in general applicable to any language, this grammar is nothing but a set of rules. It is a system of rules and principles for speaking and writing in a particular language. The general definition of grammar is the study of the way the various words are used to make different types of sentences which are acceptable to that particular language. And we do use all these things in our day-to-day life. But the point is, whenever we use different types of words or whatever vocabulary that we have developed, or whatever word power that we have built up in the course of time, can we really use any word at any place? Will it give any sense? No. The proper use of word in the proper context decides the effectivity of your sentence formation. Whether you are orally speaking as I am doing now, or else you are trying to put it on a piece of paper as it is your, writing experience. In both the cases, we need to be careful. We need to be careful about the use of words. We need to be careful about the use of tenses. We need to be careful about the use of different structures of sentence formation. Unless we pay proper attention towards all these aspects of grammar, our language, whether it is spoken language or written language, will not be or won't be acceptable to the standards of the language. As we are talking about English as a language, and of course, my focus will be on English grammar. And whenever we talk about English grammar, mind it well, 7 basic clauses, parts of speech, and all types of tenses, right? If you could really acquire a very deep knowledge of these 3 areas, I can assure you, you will have a very good command over English language and the use of English grammar while using language for communication purpose, whether it is spoken communication or written communication, whatever it may be. But your accuracy is more important while communicating with the rest of the world around. And once you go wrong as far as your tense pattern is concerned, as far as your parts of speech and its usage is concerned, or your 7 basic clauses are concerned, mind it well, we need to be very careful about the use of all these. And once you have the, expected knowledge of all these areas of grammar, automatically you will develop a proper, structural awareness. You will develop the proper grammatical patterns, and automatically these things will also be used in your personal usage of these things, whether it is the spoken English or written English.